All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have another reaction, another Uncut Hoops content. And this one is going to be Larry Bird destroys the modern NBA. So I wonder what's going to happen with that. And what does he have to say about basketball nowadays? So without further ado, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new here for old school basketball content. And without further ado, let's jump right in.
If they wanted to play basketball, we'd have a game. It's disgraceful. It's embarrassment to me. I mean, they should be embarrassed. So I went to Larry, and I said, Larry, what was your attitude toward All-Star games? I wanted to win. We played competitive games. No, you don't want anybody to get hurt, but you played basketball, and you wanted to win.
And now it's the East with a fast break. Behind is back to Gervin. And Larry stayed with the scoring table is not yet clear. This is a three.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP!
When it comes to the 2020s era, really the past 10 years of basketball, there's two things everyone's noticed. First off, the rapid increase in threes taken, which of course...
Yep. The rapid, remember, the three-point line was introduced in 1980. It was different back then because it not only was it introduced, Larry Bird was shooting a good 40%, while the league average was 29%. So put that into perspective. Then over time, the three-pointer, there's players who were three-point specialists or they added a three-pointer to their game. And more, it got more fast-paced. You're able to attempt more and more threes. And now look, I mean, you got the James Hardens, you got the Ray Allens, and then you got the number one right here, Steph Curry, at the top of the game. Man.
...of the game, but also the erosion of defense.
Jimmy, nice stuff. Oh, Duncan was by himself. Hero, he'll tee it up.
3 of 13 now and just...
Oh, this is embarrassing for LO.
This is by far the worst team that has ever sat in this locker room.
And as bad as those two crimes are, there's one that's a tad bit worse.
It's not competitive. There's no defense. Look, all right. If you guys are looking at on screen, you have this battle right here. I'm pretty sure this is maybe Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And look at these guys just standing here, just watching. Just watching. And there's...
And this one deals with the All-Star game. As the All-Star game back in the day, you know, it was a pretty compelling event, almost must-see TV. Then the late 2010s kind of declined, and now in the 2020s, it's a glorified shoot-around and basically unwatchable.
In front of this building, that's how much he has meant to the state of Indiana in basketball. Put up 2 of them.
I mean, Reggie, gold medal, MVP.
For Towns, Halliburton, go get it.
Bro, you know how frustrating it is for me? Number one, look how much points they scored. So much offense, but what? There's no defense. That's one. Two, just straight up jacking up. Who wants to watch jacking up shots left and right, especially from the three-point line? You get me? For me, basketball to me was always right here. In the painted area, right here, the mid-range. I'm a big fan of the mid-range. I'm a big fan of the post, right? But it's just, you're just seeing so much jacking up shots. And there's no effort, there's no hustle. And this is the All-Star game, right? So Damian Lillard just shot one. He bricked his first one, right? He went after the second one and shot another 3, bricked it again. Like, come on, man. And just standing around. Of course, you don't want to play too serious, you know, avoid injuries and all that. But what's the competitiveness, man? Then he got Halliburton shooting the 3. He's not much of a 3-point shooter, He's not consistent from three. Like, bro, this is annoying.
105 points.
I can't watch anymore.
And look, I'll give Steph Curry credit, one of the few superstars who takes initiative, cares about fans. This guy, he wants to revitalize the All-Star game, reinvigorate it with a new format. I think it's like a round-robin tournament. It's something new they've never done. It's kind of a gimmick, but at least he's trying. Now, for Steph, the one thing he doesn't realize, the All-Star game, the format, the teams, that's not the problem. The real problem boils down to the players giving effort, having pride in the game, and feeling obligated to put on a show for the fans.
It's not complicated.
And ask yourself, what does that mean? Does that mean play no defense, have wide open dunks, take 50-foot threes?
Oh,
No,
brother.
that's not what it means. Entertaining basketball still involves defense. Are we asking for Game 7 level defense? Of course not. But just have some pride in defense, a little bit of pride in stopping your guy, and helping your team win. And getting to the main topic of the video, that of course involves Bob Ryan, legendary columnist, as well as Larry Bird. And I'm sure you guys know this by now, Bird at this point doesn't make many public statements, public appearances, so when he says something, people really listen. And according to Bob, when they talked, Bird just trashed the All-Star game, couldn't stand it.
Larry Bird thinks the current NBA All-Star game is a joke and is disgusted by it, which is absolute facts. I never remember you used to always look forward to All-Star Weekend, right? All-Star Weekend back then, top players from each team come together and they're competing. Eastern Conference, Western Conference. And guess what? They're going at each other, competitive. Right? And you could see from the clips that we were just watching in this video that the competitive was there back then. The defense was there. And look at the modern clips. The effort, standing around. I said in one of my videos in the past, pillow fight. It's like, I don't know what word to it's disgusting. This is not the passion of basketball that us fans loved. We don't see it in modern NBA no more. It's crazy.
And last year's All-Star game, of course, was in Indiana. And according to reports, Bird actually gave a pep talk at, I think, the pregame, told the guys to play hard, show out for his home state. And of course, what did they do? They make a mockery of the game, don't take it seriously. It was a trash event, the worst all
Freaking bricking, and it was in Indiana too? Heck yeah. Thank you for speaking up about it, Larry Bird.
All-Star game to date. And what I wanted to do very thoroughly was contrast Bird's era, his first All-Star game, versus the current era in the 2020s.
Let's go.
And looking at Bird's era, I wasn't expecting this, but they interviewed the players pregame, talking about the importance of the All-Star game and what it meant to them as individuals.
Well, it means a lot to be selected as All-Star. I think it means a lot because you're considered maybe one of the best players in the league or close to it. So I think if I just go out and play the best I possibly can, I deserve to be here.
That's why I'm here, just have a lot of big fun and really try to win the game and enjoy it. I think that is one of the greatest achievements and greatest thrill of any basketball player, professional on the professional level, to play in an All-Star game. This is my 12th.
Well, I think the All-Star game is about showing the fans the finer points of the game, the things that they appreciate in what you play and what you do they really enjoy. So I think it's time for us to come here and show the people what we can do.
So stopping those clips right there, the only word I can think of is refreshing. Hearing players talk like that, nowadays if you hear someone talk like that, you're blown away. Back then, kind of the standard of the bar, the lowest requirement possible for an NBA superstar. And I don't care which era you like the most, the 80s, the 90s, the current era, even the 70s, I could care less. But you gotta at least admit the current era, they're liking this mentality, this attitude when it comes to the All-Star game and just the game in general. And like Bob Ryan said in the intro, you're not trying to kill someone and take their head off in an All-Star game, but you're still playing basketball and trying to win. It's at least competitive, semi-competitive, and in the fourth quarter, it really ratchets up. For a lot of the modern day players of the All-Star game, I just think they're flat out scared to get embarrassed and scared to be that one guy who's actually trying. And of course, back in the day, everyone was trying, and the one guy who stuck out like a sore thumb was the dude not trying. Now, speaking of giving effort and trying, here's the halftime score of this game from 1980.
What an offensive show we had here in the first half of this 30th annual NBA All-Star Game. We're tied at 64.
When I heard 64-64, I was absolutely blown away. That for today's NBA during the regular season is a halftime score of a lot of these games. And for an All-Star game, it's like the first quarter, early second quarter type score. Back then, it was the halftime score. And the sad thing watching this game from the 80s, I mean, it's way superior to the current All-Star game, but even compared to the NBA games in the regular season, the defensive effort, even the offensive energy, it's semi-comparable. And looking at some current day NBA scores, the day I'm making this video is December 2nd, 2024. So looking at last night's scores from Sunday, here's the games at halftime that are most notable. Pacers Grizzlies, 68-62. Raptors Heat, also low 60s.
He's comparing the All-Star games from 1980 to modern basketball halftime. Hey.
Rockets OKC,
Hey,
same thing.
yo.
Kings Spurs a tad bit higher, then Mavs Blazers 61-58. That is halftime scores for modern day NBA games. Compared to All-Star games 40 years ago, it's comparable in terms of score and defensive effort. The biggest problem for the NBA product right now in 2024, their games during the regular season, they're becoming games like at the All-Star game. It's just threes, layups, very little defense, and that's all you get.
Kicks it out, the Bridges three, drive and kick. Johnson is open. Titles as an assistant, one with ball, back out, pick and pop. Got him in the year.
I'm telling you, it's turned into jacking up threes, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, what happened to the fundamentals of basketball? What happened to mid-range, the post? Now you don't even have traditional bigs. It's a small percentage. And then it's over dribbling. There's not much plays. And that's why I love Red Auerbach. I love the video where that 1986 team, they went down the line of each aspect of the game of basketball. And they was teaching, what do they do? What do they look for? Right? And went down to the best players too. Man, that is crazy. Crazy how it just changed and is on the decline more and more as the year goes on. Right now, apart from recording this video, it should be playoffs. And number one, just hearing about the subscriptions. All I have is an Amazon Prime subscriptions because I order things. But once I realized that sports was tuning into like Amazon Prime, Peacock, what's the other ones? I think there's some other ones. And I'm like, bro, what happened to? We had cable TV, we had free, we was paying for cable and stuff like that. Now we gotta pay to watch this trash ass playoffs, bro. That is crazy. Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
Quite hole in the follow through. Watch it.
Simmons, shot clock winding down. Over Williams, air ball. Johnson, look for the open man. Keon Johnson is in. Can't hit the three. One and done.
I mean, that right there is an actual NBA game that rivals last year's All-Star game, the least competitive All-Star game to date. And I know I'm being redundant, but I want to hammer this point home. Let's do a blind comparison, last year's All-Star game versus a primetime NBA game from last week. Here's the first 11 shots from both those games. Game on your left, 10 threes, 1 2-pointer. Game on your right, 5 threes, 5 2-pointers.
Bro, what the? Is this legit? You see how many 3-point attempts and just one mid-range? Even this over here is almost quite the same. The threes that are being taken and missed. It's like 100% of the players on the NBA think they're the Steph Currys, think they're a top 3-point shooter, which is crazy. What happened to fundamentals? What happened to different positions being able to have and like strengths and weaknesses, right? You got centers that's not in the post no more, but they're laying around the 3-point line. What happened to the big men being down in the paint? Whoa, that is absolutely disgusting.
Looking at that play-by-play data, I'm sure you figured it out. On your left, Suns vs. Lakers, the primetime game, and on the right, the All-Star game.
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
And look, my stance on threes is pretty simple. The three-pointer's been around for close to 45 years. And for the first 30 years, it was a good thing, it wasn't abused, and wasn't taken advantage of. Nobody wants to see 45 threes taken again, again, and again, and that's all you do. That's unwatchable. It's not good basketball. And one last thing I do want to do very quickly, when looking at Larry Bird's All-Star games, his last real prime peak year as an All-Star was 1988.
The excitement that the All-Star game generates, it never gets old.
To play against them all season long. Now, I'm going to see what it's like playing with them and see if I can blend my talents with their talents.
You know, I'm not thinking about outshining these guys. I just want to be out there and competing with these guys.
It's a great honor. There's no question about that. The thing is, if I didn't get picked, I'd be pretty upset, so I'm glad I'm here.
So stop.
Look at the way that they were speaking. There was no ego, as the All-Stars, the best players from each team that were selected on the same team. Magic want to mesh with them, see if his styles can mesh with their styles. And then also MJ on the best player in Chicago, and then want to be able to play with his teammates on the Eastern Conference and win, compete at the highest level. And that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. It was an honor to be an All-Star.
The interview is right there, just like 1980. Grateful for the game, the players, just honored to be a part of the event and show out for the fans. And if you watch this game, just watch the first quarter. The level of defense and effort, intensity, compared to the current NBA, this year's All-Star game had more of that on both ends of the floor.
Early in the game. And they go to the loop pass. It was short. Thomas going to Jordan. And here comes Matt Lieber. Snubbed a year ago. He's an all-star now. So already we have a lot of shooters, but we see a little defensive aggressiveness by the East.
Who would you like to match up against? And Magic Johnson said, I want to play Jordan.
They double team, and on the pick and roll, Karl Malone gears a 4-on-3 for the Western Star. English didn't have control.
Competitiveness.
To Wilkins, open court.
Yes, go.
The starting center. Malone is all home.
Look at that block. Nothing easy on the All-Stars.
Great defensive play by Olajuwon. And Malone scores.
Now, stopping in that right there, I'm not cherry-picking anything. That is the first quarter, the first 5 minutes of the first quarter, and there's that many great defensive plays by both teams. Not cherry-picking in the slightest. And looking at the final score of this game, it was 138-133, which is a pretty decent score for an All-Star game. Now, that score, it's telling for a couple of reasons. First off, compared to the modern NBA already this year, 29 teams have scored 134 points or more. What does that tell you guys? Teams nowadays during the regular season aren't giving effort like superstar players back in the day.
He ain't lying.
Like I said earlier regarding Steph Curry trying to revamp the All-Star game, it's a valiant effort. But what it comes down to is the players actually caring, having passion for the game, and with respect for the fans. Somewhere from the 1980s till now, that respect, that connection fans to players, it was lost. When it happened, I don't really know. But here's one thing I do know. If these trends continue, if the NBA keeps going downhill, fans keep getting alienated more, this game in the 2030s into the 2040s, not going to be in a great spot. So that right there is the end of the video.
It's going to be, you said 2030, 2040s. Man, if there's not a reset, there's not a there's two things I'm thinking about right now. Seeing the documentary, The Courtship of Rivals, with Larry Bird and Magic, and how everything was elevated then. I'm also thinking about Red Auerbach and his system, his coaching. He said basketball is simple. Putting the ball into the hoop. Whoever has put the ball in the hoop the most, by the time is 0-0, wins the game. But it's not that. It was his passion and also the fundamentals of basketball. You're not seeing it nowadays. The jacking up the shots. There's no skill. There's no fundamentals nowadays, which is crazy. So by we already in 2026, 2030, 2040, basketball. Nothing changed. If things don't improve, it's gonna be non-existent. Come on. People not a big bulk of the basketball fans already stopped watching. You're gonna see modern fans just start walking away too, because it's terrible. There's no passion. There's no competition. Now it's building super teams, superstars joining other superstars versus competing against them. Is declining more and more. Is terrible. Absolutely terrible. Catch you guys on the next reaction.